Li Qianmei's expression showed tension as she watched her father fighting against the three individuals. Worry filled her eyes. Outside the formation, the starry sky trembled. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign stood alone, facing three opponents. His expression remained calm, showing no change. Waves of blue light surged as he unleashed his supreme divine abilities, spreading with a fierce roar. After observing for a while, Wang Lin closed his eyes, ignoring everything around him. The booming sounds were pushed away from his ears as he entered a meditative state. However, his divine sense remained slightly separated from his body. If anything unusual occurred, he would immediately sense it. During the 2 years of meditative healing, Wang Lin's injuries had almost fully recovered. Most of his time was spent trying to integrate the sky-rending technique from the 8 drops of blood in the center of his forehead. He needed to master this technique and wield it with ease. Having experienced its power firsthand, Wang Lin understood just how formidable it was. As for integrating the 8 drops of blood to enhance his Tao ancient powers, that would take more time, and the current environment did not allow him to immerse himself completely. Therefore, he had delayed it for now. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Wang Lin seemed to sense something, opening his eyes to see the starry sky outside the formation, which was shattered with debris. Numerous collapsed black holes spread across the vast expanse, remnants of the battle between Blue Dream Dao Sovereign and the others. Amid the broken sky, countless souls of the deceased worshipped spirits floated faintly, drifting away like invisible smoke. After just a few glances, Wang Lin could feel the intensity of the battle that had unfolded in the past 3 days. He did not see Miaoyin and the others, but saw Blue Dream Dao Sovereign step into the circular light ring of the formation, arriving before Wang Lin. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's expression was slightly fatigued, indicating that his battle with the three was not easy. Miaoyin is heavily injured and won't recover to her peak cultivation for 100 years. She has fallen to the ethereal stage. If you encounter her again, you may kill her. Jiutian's injuries are lighter than Miaoyin's, but I've destroyed his worshipped realm, damaging his spirit. In the future, he won't be a match for you. Great Baron Sage is the most severely wounded. He escaped using a secret technique, but he won't live for more than 10 years. After saying these words, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign crossed his legs and began meditating. Li Qianmei's expression was complicated. She had witnessed the battle over the past 3 days and had seen her father's fierce battles and countless close calls. Wang Lin remained silent. After a long pause, he slowly spoke. I already have a wife in this life. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign suddenly opened his eyes, glaring at Wang Lin with a dark expression. Not even with my help can you change your mind. I didn't ask you to give up your wife. I only want you to give my daughter a promise. This should not be difficult for you. If it weren't for my daughter, even if your cultivation reached the ethereal stage, even if you have the Tao ancient inheritance and can slay an early-stage profound void cultivator, what would you be in my eyes, Blue Dream? You can kill me easily, just like shooting a bow at Li Guang. Even if I die, I won't bring my Blue Silk clan into the inner realm. I was born in the ancient era, one of the 5 ancient sovereigns. Do you really think that I would lie to you, a junior? What could you possibly have to deceive me? Even if I had the means, after cultivating for countless years, I would never stoop to such measures. That heavenly reversal pearl was in your hands. If I were greedy, I could have taken it back then. Your cultivation wasn't even at the 3rd step. If I wanted to kill you, I could have done so long ago. All of this, if not for your affair with Qianmei, would I have delayed it until now. As for your relationship with the Palm Sovereign, the battle between the inner and outer realms, or even the conflict between 7 colors and the War Ghost, if I, Blue Dream, didn't want to get involved, guarding my Blue Silk clan, no matter who wins in the end, it would not have affected me. In fact, I could have used it to form a connection through favor. Right now, I give up everything for you to promise me something for my daughter. Wang Lin, do not force me further. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign stared at Wang Lin, his eyes filled with anger. He had done everything for his daughter. Li Qianmei shed tears. Only now did she fully realize what her father had sacrificed for her, and what he had given up. Wang Lin's expression grew complicated. He stood up and bowed to Blue Dream Dao Sovereign. I do not doubt the actions of Xun'er. Stop speaking. You, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign saw Li Qianmei's tears, and his heart softened. He stared at Wang Lin, swallowing the words he had intended to say. I can take another step back. I want a promise from you. If your wife revives, you and my daughter will become sworn siblings. But if she does not revive, you will become a Dao couple with my daughter. This is my bottom line. Wang Lin, you must make your choice carefully. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's expression was cold. Wang Lin remained silent, standing up and gazing at the starry sky in the distance. After a long time, a look of confusion appeared on his face. His gaze briefly swept over Li Qianmei, seeing her tears, her head lowered, and her averted eyes. You? Forget it. I won't force you to answer immediately. When you've made up your mind, come to the Blue Silk Clan to find me. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign stood up, preparing to stop healing here. Seeing his daughter's sorrowful expression, his heart ached. He had come with hope, believing this would make Wang Lin agree, but in the end, it turned out like this. Dad, let's go. Li Qianmei wiped away her tears, gently standing up and walking to Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's side. Dad, I didn't understand before, but now I do. Let's go home. We'll never leave again. We'll stay at home forever. Li Qianmei took Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's hand, feeling the warmth of her father. She turned around, looking at Wang Lin, and a smile appeared on her face. Wang Lin, could you return the landscape painting of mountains and lakes you gave me back then? That painting symbolized parting by the rivers and lakes. Back then, she had ultimately returned it to Wang Lin, choosing to let go. But today, she wanted it back. Wang Lin's mind was shaken. He looked at Li Qianmei, pain and struggle showing in his eyes. His wife was Li Yuan, the woman who had spent a few short years with him, yet accompanied his soul for 2,000 years after death. But Li Qianmei, unlike Mu Bingmei and Shi Zifeng, had given so much to Wang Lin. The blood spilled over the past 10 years, those memories from the past. How could Wang Lin forget? This woman's persistence, her deep affection, and her bright smile and gaze. Wang Lin was not made of stone. How could he remain indifferent? Please, give it back to me, okay? Li Qianmei bit her lip, her face pale, but still forced a smile. She had to smile. She didn't want to shed endless tears in front of Wang Lin. Return the painting to me. Wang Lin, when Li Yuan wakes up, bring her to see me. Wang Lin stared blankly at Li Qianmei. His right hand trembled as he raised it. With a wave, a storage crack appeared, and from it flew out the rolled-up painting. The painting contained landscapes, the parting by the rivers and lakes. Wang Lin grasped the painting. It no longer carried the carefree feeling he had when he first gave it away. He couldn't give it to this woman with the same calmness as he had back then. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign watched this scene, his anger turning into sorrow. He looked at his daughter, knowing that she had given up. She had given up. Mu Bingmei, who was also watching, had a complicated expression. She felt reluctant and was torn inside. Though she was Wang Ping's mother, she had no right to advise him. Watching the father of her child part ways with another woman caused a deep sting in Mu Bingmei's heart. Please, give it back to me. Li Qianmei walked up to Wang Lin with a smile, gazing deeply at his face. She raised her delicate hand to adjust his clothes and hair. Beneath that smile, the tears could no longer be held back and began to fall. She gently embraced Wang Lin, her tears staining his clothes, soaking the white fabric. If you don't like me, why did you come to save me in the sea of clouds? Let me die with hope, leaving you in my memories. Isn't that better? Wang Lin, it's not love. Li Qianmei murmured in Wang Lin's ear. She pulled away from his embrace, grabbing the painting roll from his hands, trying to pull it away. But her hand, gripping the painting, froze suddenly. Wang Lin had tightly grasped it. Wang Lin closed his eyes. The painting, in Li Qianmei's pull, did not loosen at all. Li Qianmei's face grew even paler as she turned back to look at Wang Lin, who had opened his eyes. This painting, you don't need it anymore. Wang Lin's right hand clenched, and the painting of parting by the rivers and lakes instantly crumbled, turning into dust that dispersed from both his and her hands. From now on, you are my woman. Wang Lin looked down at Li Qianmei, his voice firm but gentle. Li Yuan is my wife. When she wakes up, we will marry. Li Qianmei stood there frozen, and after a long while, tears began to flow again as she cried in Wang Lin's arms. Wang Lin embraced Li Qianmei. Since he had made his decision, he would not regret it. She was the first woman he had accepted in over 2,000 years, aside from Ling Yuan. Her name was Li Qianmei. Brother, I have 3 questions to ask you. Can you enlighten me? When I leave, will you see me off? If one day I die, will you still remember me? Wang Lin, I can't hold on anymore. The blood is drying up. Will you wake up? I don't regret it. Wang Lin, wait for me. Wait for me to fetch the medicine. You will wake up. Memories, like water in the palm, may slip through the fingers, but the warmth of that water will always be remembered in the palm. One day, when holding the water again, the warmth will return to the palm, and the water will remember the warmth it once felt. They will return to the Blue Silk clan, and when they come back, they will bring the entire clan with them and choose a new area within the realm to establish their new tribal land. With Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's cultivation, although injured, this journey will be free of danger unless Palm Sovereign intervenes. However, even Palm Sovereign would not press too hard against Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, who has no flaws in his Dao heart and has reached the Void Profound peak. This is because, with Blue Dream Dao Sovereign's cultivation, as long as he wishes, he can step into the profound tribulation and summon the tribulation. Under that tribulation, even Palm Sovereign would have to retreat. Li Qianmei, following her father, vanished into the starry sky of the outer realm. As father and daughter left, the blue light surrounding the formation slowly dissipated, returning the starry sky to its dark state. Li Qianmei left in great joy, her smile as radiant as it had been in the past. Every now and then, she would glance back at Wang Lin, her eyes filled with boundless tenderness. This man was the one she had chosen. She had no regrets in the past, and she would never retreat now. Even if it meant death in the future, she would not regret it. This was Li Qianmei, true to her own character. Now, only Wang Lin and Mu Bingmei remained within the revolving wheel formation. Mu Bingmei had witnessed everything that had just transpired, and her heart was in turmoil. There seemed to be nothing to say between them. After a long while, just as Mu Bingmei opened her mouth as if to break the silence, Wang Lin closed his eyes, beginning to breathe deeply and focus on understanding the method of tearing the sky apart. Mu Bingmei's words vanished before they could leave her mouth. Her character was ultimately different from Li Qianmei's, even more so than Shizi Feng or Red Butterfly. She was just herself, Mu Bingmei. The last 6 months quickly passed, with only 1 month remaining. On this day, Mu Bingmei stood up. Her eyes were no longer filled with complexity, but clarity. She gazed at Wang Lin, who had his eyes closed, for a long, long time. Take care. These were the first words she had spoken in a year, and also the last. After saying them, Mu Bingmei turned and walked toward Kungsu in the realm. She was the Kungsu Holy Maiden. She had to return to Kungsu. It seemed that her 11 months of companionship were only for the purpose of saying this one sentence. Mu Bingmei didn't wait for the end of the year, but left early, just 1 month short. Mu Bingmei kept that last month in her heart, to be remembered later. Her figure, alone in the starry sky, seemed very lonely, desolate, and fragile, evoking a sense of heartache. She had lost everything, her home, her master, and all the familiar faces who had accompanied her through her growth. They were all gone. If there was anything left, it was Wang Ping. That was an unchangeable fact. She was Wang Ping's mother. Even if I die, no one will know, right? Pinger hates me too. Mu Bingmei's expression darkened as she walked farther and farther away. Until Mu Bingmei's figure disappeared into the starry sky, Wang Lin opened his eyes and gazed silently in the direction she had gone. He no longer held any hatred for Mu Bingmei, but neither did he have any feelings for her. 1 more month. Wang Lin's expression grew serious as he stared at the outer starry sky. His right hand rose and suddenly pressed a finger to his forehead. As his finger landed, Wang Lin's body shook, and a series of booming sounds echoed through his body. Under the sound, his form gradually became blurry, and a faint, illusory appearance appeared. It was as if there were 2 Wang Lins, overlapping each other. At this moment, the overlapping figures became unstable. After a few breaths, with a twist of his figure, another Wang Lin suddenly appeared from his body. The overlapping figures separated, and the booming sounds ceased. The blurriness faded, and within the formation, there were now 2 identical Wang Lins. The one sitting cross-legged was Wang Lin's true body, combining the ancient god, ancient demon, and ancient devil, having inherited the Tao ancient legacy. The one standing was his clone, the body of a cultivator. There had once been a time when Wang Lin's body had remained like this for a long period, his true body meditating while his clone went out, both cultivating simultaneously. Now, he had not done this for a very long time. But now, once again, he split his body. The clone and the true body locked eyes. After a long silence, Wang Lin's clone stepped toward the starry sky of the realm and vanished without a trace. His true body closed his eyes again, sitting cross-legged within the formation, preparing to endure this last month. In the starry sky, Wang Lin, dressed in white, walked forward. At this moment, he no longer had the powerful strength of his physical body, but his cultivation had reached the mid-ethereal void stage. This, however, was the cultivation of a cultivator, and it would not change. Now he was a complete cultivator. He could no longer fight with his physical body, but could only kill using divine techniques. In the final month, before the 4 great generals of the ancient immortal domain step out, I still have one thing to do. I will recondense the 4 great immortal realms, merging them into one, creating a new immortal realm. From that moment on, cultivators within the realm will be able to gather the power of devotion. Afterward, newly born cultivators will continue to cultivate immortality. After their spirit transformation, they can ascend and enter this immortal realm to practice cultivation. Wang Lin's expression was serious, his figure flickering across the starry sky. Throughout history, only the previous sealing venerable had accomplished this feat. He opened the 4 great immortal realms, allowing cultivators within to gather the power of devotion for a time. However, after the sealing venerable was severely wounded and near death, and with the collapse of the 4 great immortal realms, that power disappeared from the realm. But now, things are different. Wang Lin had shattered the sealing formation, allowing the presence of ancient stars within the realm's starry sky. This dismantled the restrictions on devotion, and now was the perfect time to recondense the immortal realm. Others before him had also considered recondensing the immortal realm, but the conditions did not allow it. They lacked the treasures of the sealing venerable and could not achieve this. Additionally, the sealing formation was not yet weak enough to collapse at that time. As Wang Lin moved, the first place he went was the wind immortal realm in the Sea of Clouds. This realm had remained mostly intact, though it was occupied by large numbers of mosquito beasts. With Wang Lin's cultivation back then, he was unable to shake this realm, but now he was able. Furthermore, through his perception, Wang Lin already knew that the mosquito beasts that had scattered from him in the past had entered the wind immortal realm during the battle and had survived there. As he took a step, Wang Lin's body merged with the starry sky, ripples spreading out. His figure vanished and reappeared deep within the Sea of Clouds, just outside the rift of the wind immortal realm. Returning to the familiar place, Wang Lin gazed at the rift. With a flash, he entered the wind immortal realm. As soon as he stepped in, the howling winds, sharp as blades, struck his face. The entire realm was engulfed by an endless storm. The wailing winds were the only sound here, their mournful swirl echoing throughout the land. The sky was swept by layers of wind, while the earth's dust had long been lifted and swept away by the winds, leaving no trace behind. Wang Lin scanned the area with his divine sense, and without hesitation, took a step forward. His figure charged into the endless gale. His white hair danced in the wind, but the storm could not halt his steps. Instead, it collapsed before him with booming sounds. In the deeper regions of the wind immortal realm, on a fragment continent, the wind grew even fiercer. Amidst the roaring winds, 2 groups of mosquito beasts could be seen battling each other, screeching and attacking with fury. Each group had over 10,000 mosquito beasts, and as they fought, casualties quickly mounted. The ones dying were from one group, while the other group, their eyes filled with bloodlust, relentlessly drove their sharp proboscises into their enemies' bodies. The attacking group was unharmed. In just moments, the casualties piled up, and the group with many losses began to retreat under the fierce onslaught of the bloodthirsty mosquito beasts. They were soon surrounded and relentlessly chased. At that moment, from the depths of the ferocious mosquito beast group, a massive golden mosquito beast, about 100 feet long, resembling a small mountain, flashed out from a distant mountain peak. As soon as it appeared, an overwhelming pressure descended. Its expression was savage, and its proboscis, dozens of feet long, was sharp and cold, exuding a chilling gleam. Its arrival was like that of a king. With a rush, this enormous mosquito beast plunged into the fray, rampaging through the ranks of its kin, its fierce flames of rage sweeping the battlefield. Screams of agony echoed as it tore through the enemies. Within a few breaths, over 1,000 mosquito beasts had perished. As the horde of mosquito beasts followed in its wake, the group of mosquito beasts, which had once numbered nearly 10,000, was wiped out, with not a single one escaping. The massive mosquito beast was covered in the blood of its kin. Its eyes shone with a cold light, yet hidden within them was sadness. For 100 years, it had mourned, unable to find its master. It could only vent its sorrow through killing. It let out a sharp, mournful screech toward the sky. This cry was not one of joy, but of abandonment, like an orphaned child crying to the heavens. As the sound echoed, the surrounding mosquito beasts also began to howl. Their combined wail shook the heavens and the earth. From the land, countless mosquito beasts took to the air, panicked and fearful, all fleeing in unison. Among them were some particularly large ones, also quickly fleeing in terror. In their memories, over the past century, there had been a group of mosquito beasts that had grown crazed from continuous killings. They had slaughtered all in their path and would tear apart anyone who dared to remain on the new fragment continent. But at this moment, the massive mosquito beast suddenly shook violently, its roar abruptly stopping. Its trembling eyes lost their cold gleam and were replaced by a bewilderment that had dissipated for 100 years. That bewilderment quickly transformed into excitement. The gigantic mosquito beast, filled with joy and surprise, let out a mighty roar and darted off, flying madly toward the distance. Its behavior was as though it had been separated from its master for a long time and had just sensed its master's presence. In a moment of utter disregard, it was frantically searching for that familiar aura. Wang Lin, floating midair in the wind immortal realm, paused, turned his head to the left, and smiled joyfully. Ahead of him was the giant mosquito beast, over 100 feet in size, its eyes filled with excitement. When it saw Wang Lin's smiling gaze from afar, its entire body shuddered. With a sharp, high-pitched roar, the 100-foot mosquito king charged toward him, propelled by the wind, and crashed excitedly into Wang Lin. Its massive body caused the wind to whip across Wang Lin's face like a blade. The collision was so fierce that anyone who saw it would be startled. The mosquito beast was used to Wang Lin's formidable physical strength, but this collision, filled with excitement, made Wang Lin smile wryly. Now, he was in his clone form, and it couldn't bear the mosquito beast's intense embrace. Wang Lin raised his right hand and gently clapped forward. A ripple spread out, encircling the mosquito beast, slowing its speed as it reached him. The mosquito beast, thrilled, chirped and rubbed its massive mouthpiece against Wang Lin's body. Its eyes, filled with excitement, also carried a deep sense of reliance. Wang Lin was its master, and it viewed him almost as a parent. This bond was deeply etched into its soul, never to fade. As it continued to rub its mouthpiece against Wang Lin, the mosquito beast emitted a whimper, almost as if complaining that Wang Lin had taken so long to find it. Wang Lin laughed heartily, feeling immense joy. He shifted his position and stood atop the mosquito beast, gazing ahead. He saw that a swarm of thousands of mosquito beasts had arrived, surrounding them. Some clearly recognized Wang Lin, while others, who had joined later, looked at him with confusion. Reuniting with the Mosquito King, which had grown up by his side, filled Wang Lin's heart with warmth. He had lived a life of solitude, with only a few fierce beasts as his companions, and the Mosquito King had been by his side the longest. "It seems much more powerful than before," Wang Lin said, patting the Mosquito King's large head with a smile. The Mosquito King roared, its expression showing pride. Its roar seemed to narrate the 100 years of experiences it had gone through. Unfortunately, Wang Lin couldn't fully understand it, but having watched it grow, he could make some guesses. "All right, take me to the deepest part of the wind immortal realm," Wang Lin said, still smiling. The Mosquito King's eyes flashed with excitement, and in a quick motion, it turned and sped off against the wind. The sound of its wings echoed throughout, and the swarm of thousands followed closely behind, transforming into a massive mosquito beast storm, heading straight forward. The Mosquito King's speed was far greater than it had been in the past. Wang Lin stood on its back, carefully observing, and an odd gleam appeared in his eyes. Though the mosquito beast had never been weak, it was now far stronger than before. It had almost reached the third step of cultivation, akin to the fifth decay of heaven and man in a cultivator's path. This transformation astonished Wang Lin. Subtly, it seemed as if the mosquito beast was on the brink of evolving into a terrifying power equivalent to the third step of a cultivator, a progression Wang Lin had not anticipated. What kind of fortune did it encounter to achieve such progress? Wang Lin pondered. As he was lost in thought, the Mosquito King roared and flew over countless fragmented continents, seemingly very familiar with the area. Soon, it brought Wang Lin to the depths of the Wind Immortal realm. Wang Lin had been here before. His eyes immediately locked on a thick mist ahead. Within the mist, a massive crack appeared, emanating a chilling aura. Beneath the mist, several continents remained in their original form, with a human-shaped statue once standing in the center. However, that statue had disappeared without a trace. Lying on the continent was a mosquito beast's corpse, several thousand feet in size. Its eyes were wide open, devoid of any light, its body surrounded by the stench of death. Upon seeing this, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. The Mosquito King, with a flash, flew toward the mist and landed beside the mosquito beast's corpse. Its mouthpiece struck the body, and after a deep suck, golden light radiated from the Mosquito King. The swarm of over 10,000 mosquito beasts surrounded the area, but none dared to approach and feed. Wang Lin leaped down and landed beside the mosquito corpse, which had been dead for many years. Despite its long-dead state, its body had not decayed. Instead, it was as though it had been wind-dried. Though it was withered, the essence of the mosquito beast still remained within. Though it was dead, a powerful oppressive force still emanated from its body. Wang Lin could clearly sense that the pressure was akin to the third step of a cultivator's cultivation. After examining it for a while, Wang Lin noticed a fatal wound on the mosquito corpse's neck. This wound was the cause of the beast's death, a hole about the size of 3 fingers. The wound was hard to detect unless one looked closely. Wang Lin's pupils contracted as he approached the wound. After staring at it for a long time, he raised his right hand, and his 3 fingers slowly slid into the 3 small holes. The holes were intact. Indeed, the 3 fingers had pierced through the beast. What kind of divine technique is this, to kill this beast with 3 fingers? Wang Lin's gaze flickered. He had seen this beast before. It was the giant mosquito beast that had struggled and flown out of the rift. Though its size had changed since then, the aura was eerily similar. 3 fingers. This lingering aura of the 3 fingers on the corpse. I feel like I've sensed it somewhere before. It's so familiar. At this moment, the mosquito beast beside Wang Lin pulled its proboscis out of the mosquito corpse. With a satisfied look, it glanced at Wang Lin before screeching and flying up. The proboscis waved toward the enormous rift within the mist above. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked toward the rift in the mist. Just then, the Mosquito King screeched and flapped its wings, heading straight for the rift. Wang Lin stepped forward, following closely behind, and in an instant, both of them reached the edge of the rift. Despite being surrounded by mist, the chilling aura leaking from the rift made Wang Lin's eyes grow wary. He did not immediately enter the rift. After all, he hadn't come to the Wind Immortal realm to study this rift. But now that he had encountered it, along with the mosquito corpse and the strange yet familiar aura of the 3 fingers, Wang Lin couldn't help but feel a hint of doubt about the rift's destination. Where exactly did this rift lead? This was the first time Wang Lin observed the enormous rift from such a close distance. As he carefully examined it, he began to notice something odd. The edges of the rift were jagged and irregular, but within the jagged shapes, there seemed to be traces of something that had once connected. After a moment of silence, Wang Lin waved his right hand, and a jade slip appeared in his palm. Grasping the jade slip, he broke it in half with a crisp snap. The edges of the break were filled with countless fine, irregular cracks. When he pressed the two halves of the jade slip together, it returned to its complete form. Wang Lin's hand glowed with a soft light as he infused his cultivation into the slip. Soon, the cracks bonded, leaving only faint fissures. Wang Lin stared at the jade slip, his gaze flashing. He then held it with both hands and broke it once again with another crisp snap. The slip split into two halves again, with some of the previously sealed cracks reopened, and some new ones appeared. Holding the jade slip in his hand, Wang Lin glanced at it a few times before turning his attention back to the rift. Gradually, his eyes revealed a gleam of insight. It's very similar. This rift must have been torn open once before and then repaired afterward. But after many years, it was torn open again, which caused these changes along the edges. If the second time it was torn open happened when the Wind Immortal realm collapsed, allowing the mosquito beasts to rule here, then when was the first time it was torn open? Who opened it? A screech interrupted Wang Lin's thoughts. The Mosquito King was hovering outside the rift, clearly eager to enter. It looked back at Wang Lin, showing an urgent expression. All right, let's go in and see. Wang Lin nodded slightly at the mosquito beast, and with a screech, it shot into the rift. Its movement suggested this wasn't its first time entering. It had clearly done so many times over the past century. Wang Lin took a cautious step forward. His mind was exceptionally alert, a level of caution that had stayed with him throughout his life. The higher his cultivation, the more he understood the peculiarities of the world. As he stepped into the rift, an overwhelming chill washed over him. Wang Lin squinted his eyes, his cultivation flowing through his body, but he didn't release his divine sense just yet. Instead, he swept his gaze across the surroundings. What he saw stunned him, his eyes flashing with brilliance. The rift was filled with a glowing world. The light came from numerous large, egg-shaped objects scattered all around. It was immediately clear that this was a strange place filled with countless mosquito beast eggs. The eggs were packed densely together, with many mosquito beasts lying dormant inside, awaiting awakening. Looking at them, there were easily over several million eggs. The deeper one went, the more numerous and larger these eggs became. Wang Lin even saw eggs as large as 100 zhang, within which the mosquito beasts radiated golden light, fully formed and seemingly on the verge of awakening at any moment. As soon as Wang Lin's mosquito beast entered the area, it immediately emitted a triumphant screech. It rushed toward a cluster of eggs, and with a powerful thrust of its massive mandibles, it pierced one, sucking everything inside out. Watching this, Wang Lin understood why his mosquito beast had undergone such a transformation. It was all because of this place. What is this place? Wang Lin murmured, spreading his divine sense cautiously, expanding it slowly until it completely covered the entire space. As his divine sense extended, Wang Lin saw a complete picture of the area in an instant. His eyes widened in shock, and his body instinctively took a few steps back, suddenly looking up. The walls of this passage were fragile, with several damaged areas, cracks forming like fissures, as if the passage could collapse at any moment. At both ends of the passage, one was where Wang Lin currently stood, and the other led deep into the endless depths. In that deepest part, even Wang Lin's divine sense couldn't reach. All he could faintly perceive was a massive stone door. On the stone door was a piece of paper, a paper talisman seal. After a moment of silence, Wang Lin took a step forward, instantly vanishing from his original spot and reappearing at the very end of the passage, 100 zhang from the stone door. This 100 zhang distance prevented any divine sense from entering. Furthermore, waves of oppressive pressure filled the air, hindering anyone from approaching. Wang Lin stood 100 zhang away, staring at the stone door, his eyes heavy with thought. The stone door looked ancient, with intricate characters carved upon it. These characters were unfamiliar to Wang Lin, but he could vaguely sense the age they exuded. As Wang Lin observed, he began to realize that the stone door wasn't perfectly standing there by itself. It seemed to have been forcibly fused into place, as though it was meant to support the passage, ensuring its eternal existence. After a moment's contemplation, Wang Lin moved forward, stepping into the 100 zhang range. The moment he entered, his expression shifted as a powerful pressure exploded from within the stone door, making his steps feel heavy and unsteady. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. The place was strange, and he still had no idea what was going on. But after a brief hesitation, he slammed his right foot down hard. With a resounding boom, the passage trembled. After this step, Wang Lin darted forward, covering more than 10 steps in a single flash, each step several zhang long. In the blink of an eye, he reached the midpoint of the 100 zhang distance. Here, the sounds of thumping from his body echoed, as if it might collapse at any moment. His current body wasn't the ancient god physique, and if he continued, the pressure would be unbearable. Lifting his right hand, he formed a seal and sat down cross-legged, closing his eyes and placing a finger to his brow. Suddenly, Wang Lin's body shook violently, and a vortex appeared in the center of his brow. His essence spirit flashed in a sea of bloodlight, leaving his body. That bloodlight was his blood sword. Merging with his essence spirit, Wang Lin's consciousness, shielded by the blood sword, sped toward the stone door, covering the remaining 50 zhang in an instant. For the blood sword and his essence spirit, 50 zhang was nothing but a moment's sweep. The repulsive force was terrifying, constantly crashing against the blood sword, attempting to crush and destroy Wang Lin's essence spirit. Just when his essence spirit was only 10 zhang from the stone door, the repulsive force reached its most violent peak. The blood sword trembled, and Wang Lin's essence spirit was at risk of being violently expelled. It clung to the blood sword with all its might, focusing its mind. The blood sword suddenly shot forward with a loud crash, embedding deeply into the side of the passage wall to stabilize itself. Even then, as the blood sword dug in, it was still being pushed back. At 10 zhang, the distance was already very close for Wang Lin. His essence spirit shimmered on the blood sword, his gaze locked onto the stone door and the paper talisman seal. With such close observation, Wang Lin could almost confirm that the stone door had been placed here deliberately, designed to support this passage. The paper talisman on the stone door was the source of the oppressive repulsion, sealing the door to prevent anyone from entering or exiting. What lies beyond the door? Wang Lin's mind raced. Meanwhile, the blood sword continued to push back, and Wang Lin's essence spirit was forced further from the stone door, now more than 20 zhang away. With a violent explosion, the blood sword was ejected from the passage wall by the repulsive force, causing Wang Lin's essence spirit to be violently pulled back to 50 zhang. His essence spirit returned to his body, and Wang Lin, still sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. If my true body were here, with the ancient god's physique and the immortality art, I could have crossed the 50 zhang distance, though it would have been difficult. But if I returned to merge with my true body now, it would waste too much time. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with a cold light. Throughout his life of cultivation, he had never yielded to any force. With a cold grunt, he formed a hand seal, and instantly, his left eye flickered with thunder, rumbling as the thunder origin appeared. At the same time, his right eye blazed with fiery flames, casting a hue of fire. Sitting cross-legged, his hands rose. His left hand symbolized life, and his right hand, death. The left palm represented cause, the right palm, effect. He closed his eyes, then opened them again, with the truth and falsehood origin swirling around him. Finally, within his body, a violent explosion of killing intent erupted. The sixth origin of slaughter roared to life. The 6 origins converged and directly fused into Wang Lin's forehead, where a vortex reappeared. His soul essence burst forth, carrying the 6 origins, and reformed into the blood sword. Thunder crackled, flames blazed, and the 3 great origins of void circled around him, with slaughter opening the path. In that instant, the blood sword, formed by his soul essence, erupted with a sword's shrill cry, crashing toward the massive door 50 zhang away. Booming along the way, the repulsive force grew stronger, but it could not stop the full force of Wang Lin's cultivation exploding. His soul essence was like a sharp sword, unbreakable. In the blink of an eye, he approached the door again. This time, there was no hesitation. Under the intense repulsive force, he forced his way through. With a loud crash, the blood sword, with Wang Lin's soul essence, pierced directly into the paper talisman on the stone door. With one strike, it pierced 3 feet into the stone door. A loud hum sounded, and the sword trembled violently. The repulsive force exploded, clashing with Wang Lin's 6 origins, trying to shatter his soul essence. As the blood sword penetrated the paper talisman and pierced 3 feet into the stone door, Wang Lin's soul essence immediately sensed an aura he had once encountered before, an aura that was very familiar to him and did not belong to this cave mansion. It was the aura of the immortal firmament continent, the very world his divine sense had visited after his dream path journey. The immortal firmament continent had existed since time immemorial in a vast, desolate world. Its size was countless times larger than both the inner and outer realms. Even a third-step cultivator would need a long time to traverse the entire continent. The immortal firmament continent was also known as the edge of heaven and the extreme of earth. It was the most magnificent place in the universe. In the eastern part of the immortal firmament continent, amidst towering peaks, mist swirled, and immortal chi flourished. Birds chirped and flowers bloomed everywhere, and celestial beasts danced in the skies. This mountain range was as large as 1/10 of the Kungsu star domain. It stretched endlessly, but even so, compared to the entire immortal firmament continent, it was but a drop in the ocean. In this mountain range, a peak shot straight into the clouds, like a sword piercing the sky. From up close, its length seemed infinite, but from afar, it still appeared as a small hill. Atop this peak stood a grand palace complex, the branch gate of a sect in the immortal firmament continent. This sect was known as the Unity Sect. This sect, like the Seven Paths sect, was not considered a major one on the immortal firmament continent. At this moment, within the Unity Sect's branch gate, a massive bell floated in the grand hall square. The bell was 1,000 zhang tall, appearing extremely solemn from afar. But suddenly, the bell trembled with a hum, emitting a sound that resonated across the entire branch sect. In the wake of this sound, several long rainbows immediately rushed from the distant palace. As they arrived, the massive bell exploded with a terrifying blood-red light. This blood light was blinding, and the moment it appeared on the immortal firmament continent, it radiated with brilliance. It seemed as if this light had been absent from the immortal firmament continent for an eternity, but today, it had returned. Under the bloodlight, a crimson sword tip appeared on the bell. It pierced through 3 inches, and the overwhelming bloodlight emanated from it. The sword of Yemo. Among the approaching figures, one moved with great speed, almost instantaneously arriving. He was a middle-aged man wearing a strange Dao robe. His eyes gleamed with light, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the void profound stage, radiating outward. Within his void profound cultivation, there was even a faint trace of profound tribulation power, indicating he had overcome countless tribulations. As he neared, the other figures following behind him, 8 in total, stood under the bell, each with their eyes gleaming with an odd light, staring at the sword tip that had emerged. Under their gaze, the sword tip slowly retracted, the bloodlight flashing, then vanishing from the bell, leaving only an eternal mark. The crowd fell silent, coldly watching the giant bell, with the surroundings eerily quiet. "Master, should we open the Dongdin bell?" One of them spoke slowly. "There is no need for now." Before he left, Brother Ma said this bell must not be opened. He will return on his own. The Yemo blood sword. It seems the rumors are true that Yemo was led into the cave mansion by the Seven Paths sect. That Rainbow Dao sovereign abandoned their cultivation partner and sealed off the Seven Paths sect. They must have obtained an incredibly valuable treasure. Brother Ma researched this for a long time and used our Unity Sect's treasure to open a path to their cave mansion. With Brother Ma's skills and cultivation, there's no need for us to worry. Within the strange passage's stone gate, the blood sword recoiled. Inside, Wang Lin's essence spirit, shaken, was abruptly pulled back by the repulsive force, retreating 50 zhang in an instant. His essence spirit merged with his physical body, grabbing the blood sword as he hurriedly retreated. In the blink of an eye, he had backed out over 100 zhang. Standing 100 zhang outside the stone gate, Wang Lin's expression was unusually grim, almost ashen. His eyes locked tightly onto the gate, his heart pounding wildly in his chest, the beats accelerating. His cultivation surged rapidly, his vigilance reaching its peak. A dry, Parched sensation filled his mouth. After what seemed like an eternity, seeing no change from the stone gate, Wang Lin finally let out a long breath. Immortal Firmament Continent. Beyond that stone gate is the Immortal Firmament Continent. Wang Lin glanced again at the surrounding passage, a look of realization flickering in his eyes. I understand now.